All right, salute to Michael Vopel, Charlie Cream, and everybody over at ESPN. This is from their website. The article is Overreaction or Not an Overreaction. Hanah Hidalgo is the country's best sophomore and chief competition to Beuckers for National Player of the Year. It was a good week for the exceptional sophomore class. Hidalgo with 30 points was a catalyst in Notre Dame's thrilling win over Texas in the SEC-ACC Challenge. Madison Booker paced the Longhorns with 20 points. That same night, LSU's Michaela Williams rallied the Tigers to a win over Stanford with 32 points. On Tuesday, Juju Watkins had her best game of the season, 40 points and 9 for 11 shooting from three-point range in a blowout of Cal Baptist. The future of the sport is in good hands with this class that also includes the dynamic Fulwiley, Iowa State's Audie Crooks, and North Carolina State's Zoe Brooks. But Hidalgo is a leader of this pack. She's the leader of the pack. And the verdict, according to Charlie Cream, not an overreaction. Let's see what he says here. Watkins was the #1 ranked recruit in the 2023 recruiting class, and she maintained that status throughout her freshman season, finishing second in the country in scoring and carrying the Trojans to the Elite Eight for the first time in 30 years. True, Watkins remains one of the top 5 players in college basketball, but this season, Hidalgo is a marginally better player. Watkins, 25 points per game, ranked second, and Hidalgo third with 24.6, and D1 scoring behind Florida State's Tanaya Lotson. But Hidalgo is having a more productive season and should be regarded the country's second best player behind Beuckers, with that gap closing too. Hidalgo has been more consistent than Booker or Williams and more efficient than Watkins. When Hidalgo and Watkins were both on the floor in Notre Dame's win at USC 2 weeks ago, Watkins scored 24 points, but she needed 25 shots to get there. Hidalgo also scored 24 points, but added 8 assists and 5 steals, which were instrumental in the victory. And that last stat is a separator. While Watkins is a good defender, Hidalgo, who leads the country with 4.1 steals per game and topped the nation with 4.6 as a freshman, is elite. It's that ability to disrupt opposing offenses that gives Hidalgo a solid case to be considered the top player in the country. Hidalgo and Beuckers face off Thursday night when UConn travels to South Bend, and it could not have come at a better time. Now, I like to keep a clear distinction between the facts and my opinion. And in my opinion, I feel like Mr. Cream here conflated the two. Let me start with the fact that they all picked Paige Beuckers, right? I'm showing you a clip now from an article about a week ago where they picked Paige Beuckers as a front runner, which in my opinion, for them to try to frame this as a race between Hanah and Juju for second while Paige is in first, that's erroneous to begin with. And so I'll acknowledge that I'm kind of falling into the trap here by even making the Juju versus Hanah comparison. While we just set Paige Beuckers to the side as if she's automatically in first, she's not. In maybe 4 of the games they've played out of 8, she hasn't even been the best player on their team. Beuckers might actually be fourth in this race. Like I said, they've only played 8 games. If you look at the last 2, which is a quarter of those games, 2 for 11 against Louisville. Not an impressive performance at all if we're talking about the top of the top in the country. The game before that, against Holy Cross, she finished 4 for 9. But deep into the game, in the fourth quarter, she was only 2 for 7 with 5 points. And that game was a lot closer than it should have been. 1 point gap after one, a 6-point deficit at halftime. They needed her points early. They weren't there. And just to drive the point home a little bit more, the very next day, after this article was released, Juju Watkins was named the AP and College Basketball Women's Basketball Player of the Week. And as you can see, the runner-up there was Sarah Strong. So, as I said, she's been just as good as Paige Beuckers. Probably has just as strong a case as National Player of the Year as Paige does. Maybe not yet, but you get what I'm saying here. Paige isn't in pole position at all. That's a stretch. Now, she can change that this Thursday when UConn and Notre Dame plays, but as for now, no. All right, now back to Watkins and Hidalgo. If you want to tell me that you're picking Hidalgo because they won a head-to-head matchup regardless of who was injured, and they had the 2 better wins so far, the win against USC and the win against Texas, and she showed up big in both, I'm all for that. No argument at all for me. I can completely get behind that 100%. But when you tell me that she's more productive and more efficient and the elite defender, now we have to look at some facts because you're stating that like it's a fact. So I brung some facts, and I need you guys to bear with me for just a second here because we're going into a number salad. I'll make it quick. 9 games each. Juju Watkins, 32.6 minutes a game. Hanah, 37.6, so 5 more minutes a game. Juju is getting up 18 attempts per game and making 8.4. That's 46.9% field goal percentage. Hanah Hidalgo, she's getting up 18.8 and 8.7, so just about the same there. They're both getting up 18. They're both making 8. And 46.2% for Hanah, so that's just slightly less efficient field goal percentage. Juju Watkins, she's getting up 8 3-pointers a game, making 3. Hanah, she's only getting up 4.8 only. That's still a lot. 4.8, and she's making 1.9. So her 3-point percentage is slightly higher at 39.5%. Juju is at 37.3 right now. They do play Fresno State later on today, but again, this is at 9 games in. 78.5% from the free throw line. She was a lot higher than that last year, I believe 85%. Hanah's at 80% right now, so they're both close to 80, 1.5% on a difference there. Juju Watkins, she's getting 3.4 assists per game and 3.6 turnovers. And Hanah Hidalgo, she's getting 3.3 assists and 3.2 turnovers. So in 5 less minutes, she's getting a slightly more points, slightly more rebounds, slightly more assists. I'm not sure how you say that Hanah is more productive, but let's move on to some more fun stuff. All right, some of the so-called advanced numbers. And I won't read them all off. We'll just go through the categories and you can read them on the screen while I raffle off some of the categories. Points per play. Juju Watkins has an edge there. Points per shot attempt. Juju Watkins has a slight edge there. Field goal percentage, 53.7 to 51.2. That's where those extra 3-point attempts come in handy and show you what's really going on as far as efficiency. Assist percentage. She has a higher assist rate than Hanah, 20.5 to 15.8. Turnover percentage, that's Hanah. She wins that one slightly, 12.8 to 14.2. PER, 36.7 to 32.7 in Juju Watkins' favor. Offensive win shares, slight edge there in Juju Watkins' favor. And offensive rating, another win for Juju Watkins, 118.2 to 115.3. So there's only one category in which Hanah Hidalgo is leading her in there, and that's turnover percentage. Now, he also said that Juju Watkins was just a good defender, but Hanah was elite. And I believe that she's more disruptive, but tell me which defender is elite. Defensive rebounds. Juju Watkins has a lead there, 4.7 to 4.4. Stocks, that's steals and blocks. Juju Watkins has a lead there, 4.7 to 4.3. Defensive rebound percentage. Juju Watkins has a huge edge there, 14.7 to 8.8. Steal percentage. That's Hanah. She has that one, 4.8 to 3.3. Block percentage, Juju Watkins with a huge gap, 6.6 to 0.5. Defensive win shares, that's also Juju Watkins. And defensive rating, 67.7 to 76.4 in Juju Watkins' favor. So again, I do believe that Hanah is the more disruptive defender, and it jumps off the screen more, and so that lends to her defensive reputation. But Juju Watkins is the harder player to score on. One-on-one, when Juju Watkins is holding you, you have a lower chance of scoring than you do when Hanah Hidalgo is holding you. She's the more elite defender, in my opinion. And by the numbers, not just in my opinion. If any objective being, if you put these numbers in ChatGPT right now, they'll tell you which one is the more elite defender. If somebody just showed you this and you had no idea who they were talking about, which player was attached to which numbers, which set of numbers, you're definitely going with the one on the left as the more elite defender. So there's no question there, in my opinion. You guys let me know what you think in the comments, but to me, it's not even a matter of opinion. It's right there in black and white. But I guess it is a lot more easily digestible just to say Hanah Hidalgo averages a lot of steals and leave it at that. So that's what most people do. Not what we do here, though. So if you like what we do here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Now's a great time. And again, no disrespect or shots at Charlie Cream. I respect everything those guys have done for women's college basketball or in women's college basketball for a while now. But I just have to make sure that there's some separation between the facts and opinions. And you guys sway the narrative nationally. You guys probably have some impact on where these awards go to. And I ain't going for that because I just showed you guys what the real is. At least the real for right now. This all could change by Thursday, like I said. But until then, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.